Sudan's civil war, ignited in April 2023, has not only fractured the country politically and socially, but also drawn in regional and global actors exploiting its chaos for material gain. Chief among these is the United Arab Emirates, which has become a central node in the illicit and semi-legal gold trade, sustaining the war's two primary factions, the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces. Gold is now not just a resource, it is the currency of conflict. Despite catastrophic violence, Sudan's gold production reached record highs in 2024 with over 64 tons produced, an increase of more than 50% from 2022. Nearly half of this gold, mined largely in RSF-controlled areas like Darfur, was smuggled out of the country. Much of it found its way to the UAE, where a lax regulation, minimal transparency, and a booming demand for untraceable gold turned Dubai into a laundering point for Sudan's blood gold. At the heart of this dynamic sits RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, or Hemedti. His paramilitary force, forged out of the infamous Janjaweed militias, has built a parallel economy grounded in gold extraction. Through a network of companies such as Al Junaid, Hemedti controls major mines and uses shell companies to move profits abroad. The UAE has served not only as a gold destination, but also as a financial and logistical hub. Dubai has hosted these businesses, turned a blind eye to their opaque transactions, and allowed RSF-linked networks to embed in its financial system. The UAE's relationship with the RSF goes beyond trade. Reports suggest Emirati officials have facilitated arms shipments, with drones and weapons flowing from the UAE to RSF bases via Chad and Libya. Cargo planes masked as humanitarian aid have allegedly delivered war material. In return, gold continues to flow to Emirati traders, feeding both the RSF's war chest and the UAE's lucrative gold market. These transactions are sustained by a permissive regulatory environment that has resisted international calls for greater oversight. Meanwhile, the SAF, though also complicit in exploiting gold, has found itself sidelined in this economic contest. As a result, Egypt, its traditional backer, has begun routing gold exports through Cairo in a bid to counterbalance the RSF-UAE nexus. Still, much of that gold ultimately ends up in the UAE anyway, re-exported and rebranded. Other actors, like Russia's Wagner Group, have also carved out stakes, trading security and weapons for gold through shadowy deals and parallel transport networks. The result is a war economy in which violence is not an unfortunate consequence, but a necessary condition. The UAE and other actors have created incentives for both factions to prolong the conflict. By enabling the monetization of gold, they remove the costs of war and externalize its consequences, borne instead by Sudanese civilians suffering displacement, famine, and indiscriminate killings. In March 2025, Sudan filed a case at the International Court of Justice, accusing the UAE of violating the Genocide Convention by supporting the RSF. Though the court dismissed the case on jurisdictional grounds, the move symbolized the increasing international concern over how foreign interests are profiting from and perpetuating Sudan's misery. Yet the UAE remains unrepentant, denying direct involvement while continuing to dominate Sudan's gold exports. The Sudanese conflict reveals how natural resources, when captured by warlords and legitimized by foreign markets, can drive cycles of violence. The UAE's actions, whether through greed, geopolitical calculation, or both, have aggravated the conflict by empowering armed actors, weakening peace prospects, and insulating perpetrators from economic consequences. The United Arab Emirates plays a central role in fueling Sudan's civil war by enabling the RSF to convert gold into cash, weapons, and international influence. Nearly all of Sudan's gold, whether legally exported or smuggled, finds its way to Dubai. The UAE's lax financial regulation, cash-based gold market, and refusal to impose effective due diligence allow conflict gold to enter its commercial bloodstream without scrutiny. By providing a direct market for gold mined under RSF control, the UAE effectively finances Hemedti's war machine. Reports indicate the UAE has not only purchased gold, but also facilitated the transfer of arms, drones, and logistical support to the RSF. Emirati cargo flights, sometimes disguised as humanitarian aid, have delivered weapons to RSF bases in Chad and Libya. This military support prolongs the conflict, enables atrocities, and gives the RSF a strategic edge. Furthermore, the UAE's refusal to hold gold traders accountable allows shell companies linked to RSF leaders to launder profits and evade sanctions. By shielding these operations and providing legitimacy to their exports, the UAE sustains the RSF's financial ecosystem. The consequence is a war that no longer requires internal revenue or public legitimacy, only steady access to a permissive foreign market. This economic lifeline has turned gold into a weapon and the UAE into a silent sponsor of destruction. To restrict the UAE's enabling role in Sudan's war, international pressure must target both regulation and accountability. First, gold imports from Sudan, or any country lacking traceability standards, should be subject to mandatory certification under a system akin to the Kimberley process. The UAE must be compelled to enforce rigorous due diligence, including the public disclosure of gold origin, export chains, and corporate ownership. Second, sanctions should target specific Emirati entities and individuals involved in facilitating RSF-linked gold exports and arms transfers. This includes companies handling illicit cargo flights or laundering RSF revenues. Finally, diplomatic engagement must make it clear that continued complicity in Sudan's conflict will carry reputational and economic costs. Without disrupting the flow of gold and the ease with which it is monetized in Dubai, the incentives to wage war will remain stronger than those for peace. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to hear of new content. We'd love to hear your comments.